Tamim Ansary, Destiny Disrupted, A History of the World Through Islamic Eyes. Venture into the captivating world of Destiny Disrupted and explore the history of the world as seen through Islamic eyes. This summary will challenge your understanding of global history, delving into the origins and development of Islam, the stories of its prominent figures, and the unique perspectives of the Muslim community. Discover the iconic battles fought between the Muslims and the Meccan merchants, the development of the 5 pillars of Islam and the evolution of the Islamic Empire. Traverse through the impactful periods of the Umayyad dynasty, the Abbasid age, and the rise of 3 key Muslim empires, revealing their intersections with European powers and influence on modern society.
Birth and struggles of Islam. Muhammad's call to preach led to a growing influence that threatened Mecca's pagan merchants, resulting in his escape to Medina, known as the Hijra, and the formation of the Muslim community or Ummah. Following battles and eventual conversions, the Kaaba became Islam's holy site. Muhammad's death led to 4 rightly guided caliphs ruling, each facing unique challenges and contributing to the development of the Islamic civilization. As Muhammad embarked on his divine calling, his preaching rapidly resonated with many. Initially, his following comprised close friends and relatives, but soon the community grew larger, making Mecca's pagan merchants feel uneasy about his increasing power. In fear of Muhammad's expanding influence, the Quraysh tribe's elders conspired to assassinate him. To avoid this fate, Muhammad sought refuge in the neighboring city of Medina, a journey known as the Hijra, marking the beginning of the Muslim community. The Hijra became a focal point in the Muslim calendar, dividing history into the periods before Hijra, BH, and after Hijra, AH. This migration led to an influx of Arab conversions to Islam and the establishment of the Ummah. Tensions culminated in 3 major battles between the Muslims and Meccan merchants, until the Quraysh tribe conceded and embraced Islam in 6 AH. As a result, the Kaaba in Mecca, a black stone temple central to their worship, was designated as the sacred site for Muslims. In 10 AH, 632 CE, Muhammad's sudden death from fever left the Ummah in disarray, creating fierce debates over who should lead the community. The first of the rightly guided caliphs appointed to leadership was Abu Bakr, one of Muhammad's earliest companions. He held the title Khalifa, making him the first in history, from 11 to 13 AH. Succeeding him was Omar, another close companion of Muhammad, who led from 13 to 24 AH. Under his rule, the Islamic Empire became a fair and equal society, surpassing the Roman Empire in greatness. The third Khalifa, Uthman, governed from 24 to 40 AH, 644 to 656 CE. He was a humble leader, but his governors were notorious for extorting money from citizens. This led to riots and Uthman's eventual murder by an enraged mob. Lastly, Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, took on the mantle of the 4th Khalifa. However, his reign only lasted 4 years, as the Muslim community faced great turmoil and disorganization during his time. The Umayyad to Abbasid transition. Near the end of Uthman's reign, a power struggle unfolded between Ali, the 4th Khalifa, and Muawiyah, the governor of Syria and Egypt. Ali's death led to Muawiyah's ascent as the next Khalifa and the start of the Umayyad dynasty. When Muawiyah's son Yazid succeeded him, he faced opposition from Hussein, Ali's son and Muhammad's grandson, leading to the rise of Shi'ism. As Shi'ism gained strength, the tide turned with Abu al-Abbas' ascension as Khalifa, marking the Abbasid age, a period known as the Golden Age of Islam. In the twilight of Uthman's rule, Ali, the 4th Khalifa, and Muawiyah clashed for power. The latter, a governor of Syria and Egypt, had no plans to relinquish his position. Ultimately, an extremist killed Ali, paving the way for Muawiyah's rise as the next Khalifa of the Islamic world. His ascent signified the beginning of the Umayyad dynasty, which spanned from 661 to 737 CE. As Muawiyah's days dwindled, his son Yazid inherited the Khalifa title and maintained close watch over the descendants of Ali, who remained determined to claim what they saw as their rightful throne. Ali's second son and Muhammad's grandson, Hussein, amassed a small force to challenge Yazid. However, Yazid's troops crushed Hussein's revolt, and Hussein met his gruesome end at Yazid's hands. This event sparked the emergence of Shi'ism, a religious movement advocating for God's light or energy to be passed down through the Shari, the Prophet's lineage. Yazid's lineage ruled the Islamic world for several generations, but Shi'ism steadily gained influence, culminating in Abu al-Abbas' inauguration as the new Khalifa in 132 AH. Professing to be Muhammad's uncle's descendant, al-Abbas ushered in the Abbasid age, which lasted from 737 to 961 CE. Known as the Second Islamic Dynasty, the Abbasid era is often regarded as the golden age of Islam during which Islamic doctrines were refined and documented, with the prosperous city of Baghdad serving as its capital. Foundational Pillars and Islamic Wisdom. The Prophet Muhammad established the 5 pillars of Islam as fundamental duties for all followers. However, after his passing, Muslims sought to develop a unified understanding of the faith. Islamic scholars known as ulama contributed significantly to this effort by compiling the Quran and the Hadith, and by working on the Sharia, a guide to Islamic law and lifestyle. Simultaneously, Muslim philosophers, influenced by ancient Greek works, aimed to present a unique Islamic perspective on life, nature, and the cosmos. These scholars made significant contributions to the fields of mathematics, science, and medicine. Additionally, Islamic mysticism, or Sufism, emerged as a spiritual path, seeking transcendent experiences beyond rational interpretations of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam, Shahada, faith, Salah, prayer, Zakat, almsgiving, Psalm, fasting, and Hajj, pilgrimage, were founded by the Prophet Muhammad and serve as essential duties for every Muslim. However, after his death, his other teachings required clarification and unification. The ulama, Islamic scholars, undertook this critical responsibility by collating Muhammad's divine revelations into the Quran and collecting his sayings and advice into the Hadith. Furthermore, they developed the Sharia, a comprehensive guide for Islamic laws and way of life. During this time, Muslim philosophers, inspired by ancient Greek thought, sought to incorporate a distinct Islamic perspective on life, nature, and the cosmos. These scholars made groundbreaking advancements in various fields, including mathematics, chemistry, geology, optics, botany, and medicine. Concurrently, a spiritual form of Islam emerged through the Sufi sect. Sufis pursued transcendent experiences that mirrored the profound revelations Muhammad received from God. Clad in simple, rough wool garments, Suf, they practiced various rituals, such as the repetitive recitation of Allah's name, to attain transcendence. Through the dedicated efforts of Islamic scholars, philosophers, and Sufi mystics, a well-rounded and diverse understanding of the Islamic faith took shape, providing a comprehensive foundation for Muslim life and thought. The splintering Islamic empires. The Abbasid Caliphate was once the cultural center of the known world, but divisions and challenges slowly tore it apart. Independent-minded Spanish Muslims in Andalusian Córdoba split from the rest of the Caliphate, severing the empire in two. Cairo later rose in stature and, mirroring what happened in Spain, also decided to separate, fragmenting the Caliphate even further. Meanwhile, Turkish Muslim nomads, the Seljuks, established their powerful empire. The Muslim world faced additional challenges from the European Crusaders, who sought to regain Jerusalem during the First Crusade. The most significant adversity, however, came from the Mongol invasion in 1218, which brought the Islamic empires to their knees and decimated once thriving cities. Empires rise amidst exploration. The Islamic world gradually recovered after the Mongol invasion through the emergence of 3 Muslim empires, the Ottoman, Safavid, and Mughal. Despite cultural achievements across these empires, they failed to notice the growing spirit for exploration and scientific curiosity in the European powers, which eventually led to significant consequences. Having witnessed utter devastation from the Mongol invasion, the Islamic world underwent a revival toward the end of the 13th century. This period of resurgence was brought forth by the establishment of three remarkable Muslim empires. First among them was the Ottoman Empire, spanning from 1299 to 1922 CE. Originating from the prominent Anatolian Othmanli family, the Ottomans expanded their territory across Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, creating an opulent society embracing spirited Muslim culture. Simultaneously, the Safavid Empire rose in power from 1501 to 1736 CE, reigning over Persia or present-day Iran. This stronghold prevented any eastward expansion for the Ottomans. Commonly practicing Shurism, the Safavid Empire flourished significantly in art, architecture, and industry around the 1600s. Lastly, the Mughal Empire emerged at the onset of the 16th century, spreading its influence across modern-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and Burma. This empire left an indelible mark on the world through breathtaking architectural marvels such as the Taj Mahal. As these Muslim empires thrived, a growing appetite for exploration took root in Europe following the Crusades. Returning crusaders brought back a variety of exotic goods, piquing interest and sparking European exploration, culminating in Christopher Columbus accidentally discovering the Americas in 1492. During this era, discoveries left behind by Spanish Muslims ignited newfound humanism and scientific curiosity among European scholars. Arabic translations of ancient Greek philosophers, such as Plato and Aristotle, became instrumental in shaping intellectual thought. Amid the plethora of accomplishments and cultural highs achieved by these Muslim empires, their inability to recognize the progress within the European powers would ultimately lead to unforeseen and severe consequences. Unraveling of the Muslim empires. Between 1500 and 1850, the Islamic world experienced significant turmoil due to European colonization and internal divisions within the Ottoman, Safavid, and Mughal empires. The arrival of Europeans disrupted local economies, creating instability and increasing corruption. With the empires in tatters, Abdul Wahhab called for a religious reform known as Wahhabism, advocating for a return to original Islamic values, eventually becoming the dominant faith in Saudi Arabia. The great Muslim empires, the Ottoman, Safavid and Mughal, experienced turmoil during the era of European colonization, which led to both external and internal problems for these once dominant powers. Europeans, having established colonies around the world, found their way into these empires, and their presence had significant impacts on the region. For the Ottoman Empire, European traders disrupted the economy by outbidding powerful guilds for the rights to raw materials, leading to an abrupt decline in production. This situation resulted in increased inflation and a wave of corruption that permeated the empire from within. Similarly, the Safavid Empire faced its share of strife. The Shura'i leaders and Sunni provinces were at odds, and Europeans, who sought to exploit the situation for their own interests, were all too eager to instigate the power struggle. Meanwhile, the Mughal Empire encountered discord between Muslim rulers and Hindu kings, making it difficult to maintain control and unity. European colonial outposts, populated by the French, Dutch, English, and Portuguese, patiently awaited their opportunity to exploit the chaos and extend their influence. By the 18th century, these once great Islamic empires lay in ruins, leaving the faithful to question the spiritual implications of this decline. Many wondered how this collapse could have occurred, given Islam's belief in divine support for a united Muslim community. This widespread concern ultimately led to Abdul Wahhab calling for a religious reform known as Wahhabism. Wahhab emphasized a return to the original Islamic values as a means to restore strength to the Muslim world. Over time, his teachings took hold in Saudi Arabia, where Wahhabism remains the predominant faith today. The dawn of secularism in Islam. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Islamic societies encountered European ideals, such as industry, constitution, and nationalism, as they sought to modernize. While industrialization seemed promising, cultural norms and the traditional roles of women hindered its spread in Islamic countries. However, reformers like Sayyid Ahmad of Aligarh and the Young Turks promoted secularism as a means to usher in modernization and establish constitutions modeled after European ones, which eventually led to the creation of Turkey under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. In the Islamic world, the 18th and 19th centuries saw the emergence of secular reform movements that countered traditionalist ideologies like Wahhabism. These arose as European ideas of industry, constitution, and nationalism made their way into Islamic societies. The allure of modernization came with the potential of industrialization, driven by innovations like the steam engine and efficient factory production models. Muslims sought the same affordable, machine-made products that Europeans had come to enjoy. However, Islamic societies faced unique challenges in embracing this new era. Manufacturing in the Islamic world was traditionally associated with women's work in the private sphere, and the public realm was predominantly male. Introducing factories would require women to shift into the public domain, risking an upheaval of societal norms. Despite these challenges, Islamic countries like Iran remained steadfast in their pursuit of modernization by focusing on education reform. Instead of the Sharia law, emerging secular intelligentsia promoted the adoption of European constitutionalism as a superior model for industrialization. The Young Turks, for example, were a group of Ottoman reformers who championed secularism while clashing with the conservative religious establishment. In the early 20th century, the Ottoman Empire became a hotbed for nationalism. Mustafa Kemal, later known as Ataturk, established the nation-state of Turkey in 1923 and introduced a new national language, Turkish. A secular constitution soon followed, signifying the official end of the old caliphate and marking the beginning of the Islamic world's journey towards secularism and modernization. Clash of perspectives, post-World War II. At the end of World War II, many European Jews who survived the Holocaust sought refuge in the United States and Palestine. The result was a significant boost to the already developing Zionist movement in the region. Aided by Western governments, who felt a moral obligation to support the establishment of a separate Jewish state, Jewish immigration to Palestine rapidly increased. However, from the Arab perspective, this amounted to colonization, and they questioned why they should forfeit their land due to crimes committed by Europeans. The Arabs' resentment towards Jewish immigrants developed into anti-Semitism, a dark and persistent shadow over the Middle East even today. Simultaneously, events in Iran led to anti-American sentiments within the Muslim world. Before 1953, many secular and modernist Muslims perceived no conflict between Islam and American ideals, while some even admired the American way of life. However, the United States' support of a coup that overthrew Iran's democratically elected leader Mohammad Mossadegh in favor of a monarchy under Mohammad Reza Pahlavi gradually changed the Muslim perspective. Under Mossadegh's leadership, Iran aimed to nationalize its oil industry, which alarmed the U.S. during the Cold War, viewing it as a step towards communism. This reaction led the U.S. to back a bloody coup that ousted Iran's modernist leader and dismantled democratic rule. This watershed moment ignited anti-American sentiments among Muslims that continue to shape relations and politics in the region to this day. As we look at the post-World War II landscape, we see a collision of perspectives between Jews, Arabs, and the West that plunged the Middle East into turmoil. This historical juncture highlights the power of perception and how geopolitics can foster lasting resentments.
In the illuminating exploration that is Destiny Disrupted, we have journeyed through the intricate tapestry of Islamic history and its often ignored perspectives. We have examined the establishment of the Ummah, the notable leaders and their legacies, the role of the Caliphate and the golden age of the Abbasids. Furthermore, we have witnessed the monumental impact of European exploration and colonization on the Islamic world, and delved into the struggles and reforms that have shaped the modern era. By understanding these complex histories and the dynamics of the Muslim world, we can foster more informed conversations and appreciate the richness of a culture often misunderstood in many parts of the world.